Hey everyone, this is Georgia from Tippy.com. Welcome to our weekly show focused on everything iPad, from news and how-tos to app and accessory reviews. This is iPad Live. It's Sunday, November 27th, and joining us tonight is the host of Iterate and CIO of Nickelfish, Seth Clifford.
Hey Georgia, how are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad today. Mic issues, but besides that, all is well.
We'll get through that. Don't worry, we'll soldier on.
Thank you, Seth. And also joining us is the editor-in-chief of Tippy.com and my co-host on Zen and Tech, Rene Ritchie.
Happy holidays, Georgia. How you doing?
Well, it wasn't actually holidays for me, but happy holidays for everyone else.
Well, no, listen, the minute Halloween was over, I could not enter a mall, store, or turn on a radio without hearing Christmas carols. So I'm giving in. So November 1st, it is officially holiday Drive Rene crazy season. They win. They win.
That is fair enough. Now, let's talk a little bit about Iterate 11. Seth, what was it all about?
We said some stuff about some things. We interviewed a very talented designer from Campaign Monitor. His name was Jesse Dodds, right?
Yep.
Okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't mixing up shows. And it was great. It was a great conversation. He has some really, really great stuff that he's worked on. I forget, what else did we talk about, actually?
We actually ran the gamut in this show, and if you want to listen to a rant on the future of interactive design about whether we believe in this picture's under glass crap or not,
oh yeah,
creating the future of consumer electronics, and what the frack is wrong with Netflix, among other things. It was a bit of an anger-filled show. Seth had his Hulk pants on, and things went well from there.
It was a good, solid, emotional discussion with some good points.
Yes, and at one point it sounded like a truck ran over Mark Edwards, but he did survive.
That was the highlight, right?
Yes.
Watching Mark destroy a truck.
Yeah, it was like watching Will Smith in that Hancock movie.
Yeah.
It was a Street Fighter experience.
Mark Edwards is tough, man.
We also asked the question about Black Friday. Now, did either of you buy anything on Black Friday?
No, I don't even leave the house.
Because it is so horrific.
Yeah, it's
going
ridiculous.
Shopping at that. So you'll need the Zen and Tech that we'll be talking about after then.
Yeah, I don't even think I shopped online. I think I just stayed at home alone and quietly enjoyed my time.
Rene, did you?
Yeah, I actually went out. I went to the mall, and it was funny because Black Friday is not a huge shopping day in Canada because we don't have a holiday, but Apple only has one sale a year, and it's the Black Friday sale, and they don't care what country you're in. You're getting the Black Friday sale, and you're going to like it. You'll take your 1%, 2%, or 3% off, and you'll be happy about it. And
now, how much do they actually give off of the different tech that they have? Because
like
Apple's not great for sales.
iPad or something. It was a low price.
How
for
much?
An iPad. It's like $40.
40 bucks.
40 or
that
40.
really is like 2 or 3%.
Yeah, I forget the MacBook Air was a couple bucks off too, but the store was packed. The Apple store was packed. A lot of the other stores, I mean, there were shoppers in general in the mall, but the Apple store was literally a wall of people. It was like trying to get into I don't know, it was like the Matrix when there was just Agent Smiths everywhere. It was very imposing, and it was funny as I went in there and just walked around a bit, and there was like people like, why do they only sell iPhone cases here? I want a case for my BlackBerry. Is this terrible? Where are the BlackBerry cases? And they were all very nice. Oh, I'm sorry, miss, we don't have BlackBerry cases here. Try Best Buy. But yeah, they were moving stock. It was apparently a blowout for them.
Now, was everything on sale? Like, so $40 on 400, that's about 10%, which I guess if you're going to buy something that is expensive, at least it's something, it's tax.
We put up a list of the stuff that was on sale, at least the stuff that pertained to Tippy, and it's very little. I mean, the iPod Touch had a sale. iPhones never have a sale. And some accessories were on sale, but it's by no means a large sale in either sense of the word.
Right.
Apple, you know what? Like we said this before, Apple is the hot girl at the dance. People, she does not need to advertise. She does not need to wear stroppy clothing. People are going to come up and dance with her regardless.
And so they don't really need to, yet they give us a little something.
They give you a nod and a smile in the direction.
Well, imagine the ration of crap they'd get if they didn't have any sale on Black Friday. People would just give them garbage about that too.
They're a bunch of jerks. And if they do a big sale, then people will buy more, and that's not what they want. I mean, they're selling out without giving any sales. They still can't keep iPhones in stock. It took them forever to get iPads in stock.
Given the way that they run everything and the way that, the prices are pretty much fixed throughout the year, it's surprising that they even have the sale, but I think it's more a formality than anything else because obviously they don't need to clear out inventory.
You want a sale? Fine. We'll give you a sale. 8% off an iPad. Fine. It's like
everybody gets a sale. Here you go.
Yep.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about Seth, you got to try out the Kindle Fire.
I did. I played with it today.
Now, interestingly, when I was taking a look for different awesome things for the iPad, it was hilarious because I ended up getting I went down to the website and it hit me down to Amazon.com, which I'm going to just try to find 1 second right here. And I thought it was really hilarious because they went through the different things that were good about, like they actually had their own review so Amazon had their own review of the Kindle Fire versus the iPad 2 and why you should get the Kindle instead of the iPad. And I just wanted to go through it really quick and get both of your take on if it was fair or unfair, because we always talk about being biased on the show and what happens and fanboyism. So Amazon itself.
So we just frame it. So like the idea of the show in general is we're going to be doing a lot of gift guides, and there are going to be a lot of people who may decide they have to choose between a Kindle Fire and an iPad. And we'll talk about the iPod Touch later. They only have a certain amount of money. They can't buy everything, so they want to know which one they should get. And I think it's a good discussion to have if they are on the fence or if they're not sure. They want to give it to someone else and they're not sure which one is better for each person.
So what we have here is Amazon they pretty much went straight at the iPad. So it went through price, $199, and it says underneath it, $300 less than the iPad 2 versus $499. Screen size, 7 inches in plain switching display and 9.7 in plain switching display. Pixel density, 169 ppi, more than 6 million colors, and then they put down 28% higher pixel density than iPad 2. iPad 2 is 132 ppi, also 60 million colors. Weight, 16 ounces to 21. Then they mentioned that the iPad 2 is heavier, also larger and bigger screen. But anyways, they don't go through that. Now they go through the breadth of the ecosystem. Most Amazon content can be enjoyed on your Kindle Fire and many other devices, including iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry, Windows 7 phones, internet-ready, TV, Roku, TiVo, and through your web browser. And then for the iPad, most Apple content can only be used on Apple products. Buy once, buy everywhere, and that you can get with WhisperSync, your book library, last page read notes, highlights, sync across your devices, and all you can stream a movie on device and finishing places versus iBooks. And then they mention, of course, Flash.
It's like Chinese water torture.
They say yes for Flash, no for the iPad for Flash. And then pretty much say that everyone else, all of the different sites, Gizmodo, Extreme Tech, Ars Technica, and Forbes, say that Kindle Fire is absolutely amazing.
I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. That was the worst webpage ever. I mean, like, first of all, Apple would never put up that webpage because they wouldn't deign to admit that another product exists. I mean, they did that for the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC ad because they were so far behind. Maybe Amazon feels they're that far behind, but that was that. So by contrast, we put up our own iPad versus Kindle article today, and I'm going to counter what you said there, Georgia, with what I believe is a far more human-centric take to that Amazon pack of lies. Hang on 1 second, I'll just pull this up. No,
well, they did talk. You could say pack of lies. They did say things that were true, just with their own.
Some of the things in that list were true. Some of those things in the list were true, but they were true. They were truthy. How's that? We'll meet halfway. They were truthy. Yes. So here's the important things to remember. So first of all, it really depends on location. To Seth, the Amazon Kindle could be something worthwhile to consider alongside an iPad. But if you live anywhere outside the US, the Kindle Fire is only useful to consider as an alternative to a paperweight, because none of those services work or at least almost none of them work outside the U.S. I think that's terrible. Apple's making, what is it, 60% of their iPad sales outside the U.S. now, and the Kindle doesn't even work there. So for a huge percentage of the population of this planet, the Kindle Fire isn't even something you can consider. The cost is true. It costs half of what an iPad costs, but it costs roughly the same as what an iPod Touch does. So it's worthwhile. It's only twice the size of the iPod Touch, but it's half the size of an iPad. So if you can compare it to an iPad, you should be able to compare it to an iPod Touch.
Well, okay. What about they're true about speakers, stereo versus mono.
Yes.
You get Amazon Prime.
Again, only in the U.S. And that's really odd to me. Seth, explain this to me. Amazon Prime is a way to get free 2-day shipping from Amazon. But if you have that, you get free movie streaming. I don't understand how a shipping service gets combined into a customer rewards package with a movie service.
Well, that's something that they introduced a while ago, and Amazon Prime is great, especially for us because we order tons of stuff for the office, and we don't pay shipping on any of it, so it's $80 a year, I guess, and that's great, and that's really all I think about. They've started to roll in the media offerings too. Like you can watch the videos, and now Prime members have the Amazon lending library at their disposal. So if you're a Prime member with a Kindle hardware, with a piece of Kindle hardware, you can actually borrow books for free. So like they keep kind of tying media into the Prime membership, and so I think what they're trying to do is position it as less a retail channel focused thing and more of a like Amazon Premier member, and that's just one of the things that you get.
You're like an Amazon Gold member or something.
Yeah.
Connectivity. The iPad has a 3G option, so if you want to stay connected away from Wi-Fi, you can optionally pay more and get an iPad that does that. No such option on the Kindle or on the iPod Touch. The hardware. The iPad is premium aluminum and glass, beautifully constructed. The Fire is a repurposed BlackBerry Playbook. Plastic. Software. And this is the killer thing, because software is not that intuitive, but you have on the iPad, you can use all the iPad apps. There's like 125,000 or so specifically built iPad apps now, and over 500,000 iPhone and iPod Touch apps you can use in that crappy 2x double chunky fuzzy mode. With the Amazon Kindle, you can only use Amazon apps. First of all, for developers, Amazon is the one company that is more crazy, totalitarian, closed, and ruthless than Apple. But beyond that, you don't get any of the Google apps because Google, it's a fork of Android. It's not an official Android device, so no Gmail, no Google Navigation, none of Google's really cool Google Goggles, any of those apps. You don't get them. But on the iPhone, you get all the iPad, you get all the Google apps. You get the Amazon Kindle and the other Amazon apps. And on the Kindle, you get no Google apps and no Apple apps. So it's like the worst of both worlds in terms of apps. You get only phone apps shown large that Amazon has approved in a process that is more laborious than Apple's. Am I misstating that, Seth?
No, you're not. The trade-off is that a lot of people feel that Amazon has a good handle on a retail experience just in general, and that since the Google market for a lot of people is a little bit confusing, the way that, if you do a search for Plants vs. Zombies, you might get the game. You might also get a bunch of other stuff that has nothing to do with the game. You might get stuff in other languages that confuses you. It's a little harder to navigate, right? And so Amazon has tried to say, we're going to step in and do our own thing. We're going to vet things a little bit more, and it's going to be a lot better as a retail experience, and we're going to tie that into our hardware. And so for people that aren't app people, a lot of people just buy devices and don't really put apps on them, but if they want to put one or two things on, that's probably more than enough for them. The Amazon App Store experience, they're probably never going to know what they're missing out on. So for us and people like us, it's a trade-off and it's a trade down, but for, I guess, a lot of the target market here, it's probably enough.
If you've never ever seen an iPad, it could be good.
Well, it becomes affordable. In the end, if you're buying it for a gift, and Kindle is affordable.
So
in comparison to the iPad, which is, yes, it's more laptop-esque, but it is a big price difference. It's double the price, a little bit more than.
That's absolutely true. But we've had this debate before. There's cost and there's value. So you order a Kindle from Amazon, that's fine. You get an iPad. If you have a problem with it, you can go to the Apple Store. There are Apple stores all around the world now. You might not have one near you, but chances are there's one somewhere close by. They'll teach you how to use it. They'll help you set it up. if you have a problem with it, there's a Genius bar where they can actually try to help you fix it. So if you're factoring all those things in, Amazon, I'm not sure how they handle support for the Fire, but I can't go to the local Amazon store for help. Also, accessories. We're going to talk about that soon. There's so many accessories for the iPad and the iPod Touch. The Kindle is brand new. You can get playbook accessories for it.
Right. Yeah, a little bit unfair, I would say, to mention that. It's true, but it has only been in the market, so it's not really Amazon's fault. But they did, yeah, if you want to buy all kinds of different things for it.
You don't care whose fault it is. You just can't get that awesome case.
Yeah, just the way I feel about. You got to test it out, Seth.
Yeah, I did. I was at Target with my wife today and stumbled onto it when I had broken off from my own shopping experience, as I tend to do when we go out together. And I first of all, let me say that I actually like the playbook hardware itself. I like that size, even though I don't know if it's perfect. I like the 7-inch tablet and I like the playbook. The Kindle Fire leaves a lot to be desired, I think, for people that want a full tablet experience. Clearly, that's how a lot of people are positioning it against the iPad. That's not how Amazon is positioning it, but that's how a lot of people are viewing it, and I think that's how a lot of consumers are going to view it. And unless you're okay with first-gen kind of performance, and by that I mean I went through just about everything I could short of internet stuff because it was not connected to a network, which is a great way to showcase all the things that an internet-connected device can do, Target, just so you know. And I went through everything, and everywhere I went, it was like, oh, this is pretty good. Oh, but that happens. Oh, this is pretty good. Oh, but that's a really odd choice for that, And it's probably because I think about stuff way too much, and many people, regular consumers, won't. They'll just pick it up and go, look, there's music and there's movies and there's stuff like that. But all of the little things that I noticed were things that would drive me crazy over time, and things that I think will not drive everyone crazy, but will over time kind of wear them down to the point where they're like, well, this isn't really that great, I guess. And especially if they know someone with an iPad or have played with iPads, there's really no comparison between the two. And if they're buying one on that recommendation, like, don't get an iPad, get a Kindle Fire. It's cheaper, it does all the same stuff. That's probably not going to be a great experience for them. If they really just want to read and do a few other things, that's going to be all right. But everything I went through was just a little bizarre, just a little bit off.
Now, when we talk a lot about how the iPad is quite intuitive and you could give it to someone that's really not techy and they'll be able to figure out how to use it without you having to go over. Rene talks a lot about having to do that with his family and having to help out with different things. If you bought someone that is not very techy a Kindle Fire, are you going to have to set it up for them, or is it pretty much just get ready and go?
The good thing is that when you start the Fire, it kind of drops you right into the middle of everything. So you're looking at like a bookshelf metaphor, and across the top there's all the stuff like books, music, magazines, apps, docs, whatever. So it's not hard to see where you can go. But once you start digging into different things, the experience kind of is a little bit different, and some things do things one way and some things do things another way. I mean, just the fact that there's no like hardware volume control on the device anywhere, that's just a strange choice that's going to really bother people, I think, when they actually get it and start listening to music, and then instead of turning it down to, answer somebody across the room, they have to tap 3 or 4 times on a screen to get the function that they should have been able to do instantaneously. Like, there's little things like that I guess are first-gen problems, but they're things that over time will bother people, I think.
There was also Phil Nickinson ordered 2 of them, our good friend from Android Central, one for him and one to give away to an Android Central reader. And Amazon very nicely entered all his account information in the Kindle, so he didn't have to set up anything. It was ready to go. Unfortunately,
nice.
Amazon entered all his account information in the Kindle he was giving away.
But that could happen. That could happen in any way, shape, or form. It's not really, that's user error and.
Well, no, that's not user error. That's Amazon's error. But it's something to keep in mind.
Amazon's workers' error.
Well, I guess you have to be careful how you have it shipped. But it's an important point for people to remember. If they are having it delivered to somebody as a present, you want to make sure Amazon does not pre-enable your account unless you mean to buy them an awful lot of content. Because apparently some stuff is password protected, but I don't think all the purchases were. So. But I think Seth raises a good point because I mean, yes and no. This is first-gen hardware, and there were those stories. I know Ryan Block from GDGT was saying that Amazon couldn't get the Kindle Fire ready in time. So this is kind of the good enough Kindle Fire they could get ready, but the real Kindle Fire is coming next year. But I think it's still fair to point that out. Like the iPad 1, as much better the iPad 2 is, the iPod 1 was still the iPad was still a great device. It worked fairly well. There weren't a lot of hardware or software gotchas. For what Apple advertised, it did it. And the Kindle Fire feels more to me like a device that if you can wait till next year, you really should. If you want an Amazon tablet, I think you'll get a much better one next year. Whereas I think the iPad 3 is arguable. You might want to wait for that, but I think you'll still be really happy with an iPad 2 today.
Here's the thing. You're going to get what you pay for with this device, this first-gen device. You're paying, less than half the price of an iPad. That's what you're getting. You're getting less than half of an iPad. If that's what you want,
the right half, the left half.
Yeah, you can take your pick. If that's okay with you, then that's fine, and you'll be fine, and your content will be there, and all the stuff will plug in, and it'll be a good enough experience. But if you just want an e-reader and you're like, well, this is a little more, maybe I should get this, just get the $79 Kindle, enjoy it, and then wait and see what the next iPad has in store if you're really looking for some more experience. I have to say that because, reading on the Kindle Fire is fine, but it's like reading on an iPad, and then just, side by side, the iPad does all those other things in a much better way, and it's not a comparison. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people are going into it that way, and a lot of the media is obviously positioning it that way.
There was an
okay, but would you say that it is half as bad as the iPad?
Half as
awesome.
bad?
Yeah.
I don't really know how to quantify that.
If you talk about it for the price, it's only $199. You can buy 2 of them with tax, and you'll still have money saved over in comparison to buying one.
No, it's exactly
iPad.
half. So you can't buy 2.
Right.
You'll get charged
$199 to $499.
Yeah, so $200 to $5. Well, no, $399
Yeah.
for the first iPad. $499. You're right, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to think about, for people that are on a budget and would love to have a tablet, the Kindle Fire, if you love to read ebooks and you're not really into getting a lot of applications, or you don't need that, it does make out to be a pretty okay tablet in comparison to the others that are on the market.
But wouldn't you get,
Certainly.
if you wanted ebooks, wouldn't you get, this is actually a good question for Seth, because I think he's uniquely positioned to comment on this. So for $199, you could also get an iPod Touch, which is arguably smaller, but then the Kindle Fire is smaller than the iPad. You can also get a cheaper Kindle, which is better as an e-reader, because the Kindle Fire is not a great e-reader. It's got the same kind of screen as an iPad. It's better, I guess, for movies and stuff like that, but as a pure e-reader, they have some really cheap Kindles now. And also, the BlackBerry Playbook, which is the same hardware, is on fire sale for roughly the same price lately. So would you maybe be better off getting a bargain, cheap, discounty Playbook instead of the Kindle Fire?
You mean just for reading?
Or just to have a cheap tablet?
I don't know.
Or the Nook tablet too. There's a Nook tablet now as well. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and a lot of people like the Nook tablet. I'm hearing
yes,
a lot
it is quite a. I've heard some good things, and actually, we complained about the little Nook corner being cut out. But I was looking through different tablets, and right away, I had brand recognition. I'm like, oh, that's a Nook. And so, in comparison to all the other tablets that you're not sure which is which, it actually worked for whatever it so may be. If that was the choice that they made for it.
And it's more hackable. If you want to root your tablet, the Nook looks like it's more hackable, where the Amazon stops playing movies if you root the Kindle.
I think
go ahead, Seth.
No, I was just going to say, I think if you're going into this saying, I want the cheapest tablet I can get that's halfway decent, then this is going to be that tablet. But if you're saying, I want an iPad, but I don't want to spend that much, you're not going to get the same thing.
Well, let's stop talking and fighting, and let's talk a little bit more about love.
So, before we move on, what is our big thing here? What is our recommendation?
It depends on your budget and what you want your tablet for.
Yeah.
I think that if someone's just going to read with it and they're on a tight budget, that the Kindle or the Nook would be a good choice. If not, I would say definitely the iPad.
Yeah, and I wouldn't discount the iPod Touch because it is small, but it's really mobile, easy to put in your pocket. Does almost everything an iPad can do, just doesn't run all the iPad apps, and it's also a great choice. Same price as a Kindle Fire too, starting at least.
Right.
And if you're in the U.S., again, it's a moot point because that Kindle Fire is a damn paperweight outside the U.S. Amazon. I'm sorry.
All right,
about love.
let's go.
Yeah, let's stop fighting.
Okay.
All about love.
Are you ready?
I am.
For some, it's a lifelong passion. For others, it's something discovered yesterday. We all have things that speak to us. They drive us to get up early and stay up late. Getting lost in the things we love has never felt quite like this.
Peter Coyote, my old friend. So, Georgia, it's not magical anymore. Now it's lovey.
Okay.
What, you have no
I
comment?
think
Wait a
I
minute.
think that it's an effective commercial. I can't say that they touch me as much as they have before because I've seen so many of them. Seth, does it work for you?
On what level?
Are you that kid in the tent, Seth? Are you that kid in the tent?
No, I think it's a good commercial in that it showcases, again, the variety of things you can do with it, as opposed to saying it's got a really great screen and it only weighs this many ounces and it's got a great dual core processor system on a chip that we've designed it's very much experiential, and I think that speaks to people a lot more, general, regular, everyday people, than the spec battle.
But it doesn't really, this commercial, besides showing the iPad and what it doesn't really go through what programs, what you can do with it, how to use it to make your life a better thing. I don't know, it kind of misses in comparison to the commercial with the girl that was deaf and was able to actually talk to someone or show someone, your person that you're going to be getting married to. That touched me in a way that it showed how I can use it to make my life a better place. This one was great. They talked about love, but did I feel it? No.
They showed it being used for basketball plays. They showed it being used to help model 3D cars. They used people editing movies in iMovie. They showed landscape painting. I'm not sure what app it was, maybe brushes. They showed the dinosaur, I forget what it's called, some dinosaur chasing app.
But it wasn't really, the commercial supposed to be about love, yet it didn't actually give me that feeling. It didn't really touch my heartstrings, and it didn't move me in any way.
It's not about love, it's about the things that you love. It's not about love,
it missed in that is what I'm saying.
And cupids and hugging and chocolate. It's not that kind of love.
Did you feel touched by this commercial in comparison to the one with the fiance or the person that was deaf?
But I don't think they've ever done that for the iPad commercials. Those have always been like FaceTime and Siri commercials. The iPad commercials have always been Peter Coyote showing a couple of people and a kid doing a few things. Magical was one of them, and the whole series.
Well, the magical one where they talked about the children with autism and helping people.
Well, that was a longer video. That wasn't a commercial.
Fair enough. I'm saying that the actual that Apple is able to deliver a commercial which touches us, which moves us, which makes us want to buy it because it makes us feel good inside. This one I thought, I got a little dull and I zoned off at a certain point.
The last one was Learn. Hold on a second. I'll get that one up there. We can do a compare and contrast. We'll see if this one is more learn than love.
Are you curious about new ideas? Do you want to learn a new language? Or just a new word? Maybe you want to know more about anatomy or astronomy. You could master something new or uncover a hidden talent. There's never been a better time to learn.
So they went from learn to love in the speed of a commercial.
I like this one better. I felt like really I could use the iPad in order to learn more about anything. And I liked it. I liked the way it did. It captured my attention. I was excited about the different applications that it showed. And I think that it hit its mark, which is the iPad is about learning. I think that they could have done one that was about love and be exceptionally effective in it, but I don't think that they did for this. I'm sorry.
I think it's probably the time of year. I mean, this is gift-giving season. It's not like a slow part of the year where they have to explain why the product will change your life. It's like, these are all the things you can do. Guess what? There's someone in your life that wants to do one of these things. Get it.
They should have done a commercial called Gift. Give this, give that. Give the gift of learning.
Yeah, but so this may sound silly, but does every commercial have to change our lives? Can't it just be a commercial that shows us how cool something is? Like,
When you're
I don't need to be emotionally changed after 30 seconds watching an iPad commercial. I would like to be like, hey, that's awesome. I didn't know I could do that, and maybe I'll go get one.
But I would beg that one is that Apple spends so much money on their commercials that yes, they should be doing what they want to do, which is touch us. That's what every single commercial that Apple does, I believe they're impactful because of that. And a good commercial will be one that you want to pay attention to think, wow, that's absolutely super cool, and I this would make my life a better place or deal with it. And I think that I'm not saying it's a horrible commercial. I don't say that it's awful, but in comparison to Apple's standards, I think that it falls a little bit short.
All right, I'm going to move us along on this one then.
Sure.
Okay.
Gift guides. This is the fun part. I've been waiting for this all show, and Georgia just keeps talking about damn Kindles and commercials, driving me crazy.
Well, that might be one of the things that you stick for a stocking stuffer in a very large
I'm giving
stocking.
someone that love commercial for Christmas. All right, so
go ahead. Yeah, what do you guys have? What did we decide for the way that we were going to handle our gift guides?
How about we do accessories first? We'll start with Georgia.
Okay, so my first accessory is actually something that I showed the week before, and it is the Wave. We'll be giving one away, so if you don't want to have to purchase it, but they're only $40, and I use it every single day. We get a lot of different things that we review, but I have to say that...
Who would you give it to? Who would this go to? Whose stocking is this going to be stuck in? I would say
this would go to anyone who has an iPad or any tablet at all. It'll fit any tablet. Some of the phones, it might even be used for a phone. And it's wonderful. It's probably the best tablet stand that I have reviewed as of yet, or even come into contact with, because it's stable, rubberized. You can move it to any angle that you want. It looks good. It's made with quality, and it's small. It doesn't take up lots of space when it's folded. So the Wave would be my first.
Nice. Seth?
We're just doing one, right?
The accessory, yeah.
Okay. So the accessory that I want to talk about, and that I think everybody who loves music should get, is the Apogee Jam. It is an input. I'll drop the link in the chat. It is an input for your iOS device, iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, that allows you to plug a guitar into the device and actually play directly into it. It's compatible with a bunch of different apps on the App Store, and it's very, very cool because it comes with all the little cables that you would need to do it, and it's a very quick and easy way to turn those devices into kind of like mobile, either, depending on the level you want to get to, either mobile studios or, kind of what I do is just fleshing out ideas, like kind of like a scratch pad. You kind of do stuff really quickly, and then when you have something where you want it, you can either take the files over, depending on what app you're using, and put it on a larger machine and get to work, or you can just use it as, like a sketch pad, and that you kind of take your ideas from and go from there. But it is a very, very cool device. I actually got one for my birthday from my mother-in-law, so I was thrilled. And it comes highly recommended from one Jim Dalrymple, too. So if I'm not enough to sell you on it, the beard should.
Yeah.
The beard should.
All right, so I actually have two, but they're highly similar, and I wanted to give people a choice in what they have. But if you are a hipster, if you are someone who longs to swathe your metal and aluminum iPad in old world leather and wood, we have both the pad and quill case and the Dodo case here for iPad. I'll show you both. The Dodo case, this one is very simple. You open it up. I'll move back. iPad goes inside, handy elastic goes over it. It's secure. You can carry it around just like you're a freshman on your first day at college. The Pad and Quill case is similar, but they've taken it to the next level. So not only can you put the iPad in here, but because of the way the case folds, you can actually set it up to stand up so you can watch your TV and do various other awesome things with. And it's got a pocket built into it so you can put some files or a paper or two in there. Also with the elastic. So again, if you've been dying to get your hipster on, these are top-level cases for your iPad. Georgia, app.
Okay, the app that I have chosen is a new application that I am using. It's a lot of fun, and if you've ever played Shadowbane or any of the other old-time games where you have to, pick up pieces, it's kind of a puzzle game. It's called Dire Groove, and let me just resume play so you can take a little bit of a look, and I'll see if you can see it from the side. And it has some great animations in it, and if you get frustrated, it also has a walkthrough, so you don't have to worry about that. And you move around depending on where and try to figure out I'm just going to try to lift it up a little bit more, and you try to figure out the puzzles that are there by picking things up, going to different areas, but it's not exceptionally stressful as the other games. The only thing is that this one is a little bit scary, so I don't like to play it in the dark alone, because it is a little bit scary. But it is a lot of fun, so that is called Dire Groove.
Nice. It's a Skyrim for her iPad. Seth Clifford, sir?
Pairing nicely, like a fine vintage wine with a lovely meal, I've chosen GarageBand for iOS, link in the chat, because it is probably one of the coolest things you can do with your iPad. It is $5, which, I mean, for what you're getting is an incredible deal, first of all. There are many, many more overpriced apps, I think, in the App Store that do far less and not as elegantly. And just the amount of thought that Apple put into taking an app that has existed on, OS X for so long and scaling it down in a way that not only fits the screen but makes sense for touch use. It's amazing. It's really, really cool. It works seamlessly with the Jam, and it's a must-have. Absolutely.
Nice. Over to me. So this at first glance is going to seem a little self-serving, but I have no problem with that. I am looking right here at a previous episode, turn that back on, of iPad Live, and this is playing very nicely to me thanks to Instacast HD, which is Instacast has been on the iPhone for a while, but they have just made an iPad version. It's $5 in the App Store. You can use it to find all the podcasts you could possibly want. Since you're listening to this show, I'm assuming that you enjoy podcasts, and why not? They're free. They are filled, quite frankly, with people who usually have more domain expertise than the mannequins who staff network television shows. And they are an excellent source of information on a wide variety of topics. You can find them for the TV shows you like, for the movies you love, for the music you listen to, for the devices that you own. And Instacast HD is just a gorgeous way. The iPhone version is better if you're mobile, if you're running around, if you want to listen to audio podcasts on the go. The iPad version is when you're sitting in the sofa with a tasty beverage, video podcast, big screen. It's a heck of an enjoyable time, so I'm recommending Instacast HD.
Yeah, I picked it up. It's very cool.
Georgia, your miscellaneous, your wild card.
This is just kind of neat. It's a speaker system from Logitech. Holds it up so it has a stand. Plus, it has speakers, so if you like to listen to music or play games and have it be really nice and loud. Plus, if you're going to AirPlay, which is my second really cool thing, is to get the Apple TV, so you can then have your speaker system and watch it on your big screen. So you get everything, the sound, the speakers, and that. So Apple TV plus the Logitech speaker stands.
Nice.
Nice. I have chosen something from one of my favorite sites, thinkgeek.com. I'm going with the iPad. It is a wonderful product that has blossomed forth from a joke that started on April Fool's Day. That ThinkGeek often does. They create these products that look awesome but don't actually exist. But then so many people really wanted this that it came into existence. And so it's totally rad for that reason alone. If it is essentially a stand for your iPad that you dock the iPad in, complete with a control stick and some buttons. So it turns your iPad into a little arcade cabinet. And you can pair it up with some classic Atari apps and just go absolutely hog wild with your retro gaming nonsense. And I feel very strongly that even if you did not use this every day, just to have it and be able to look at it and marvel at its awesomeness, and obviously the comments of other people when they see it in your house, that's probably well worth the price. And speaking of price, it's on sale right now. It's $20 off, I believe, so it's only $79.99 right now. So if you're interested, now's the time to get it.
Christy Lynn was saying that she was sad that she couldn't watch this podcast live on her Apple TV. In fact, you can. We actually get email messages from readers. I'm going to post some. We have readers who watch this show live on their 65-inch TV. We have readers who watch it on TV while they are exercising live on the treadmill. We've been getting a bunch of pictures. Actually, what you do is you get the Ustream app on your iPad, and then you use AirPlay to beam it to your Apple TV, and then you are watching us live.
Could we have a tip for that, Rene?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Yep.
I think that'd be scary on a 65-inch TV, but I'm just saying.
Look how cute Seth is. Don't you want to see a 9-foot wide Seth head?
Oh, God, don't do that to yourself.
So my last pick, originally I was going to go with the Apple TV, but I had a sneaky suspicion that one of these two, I can't use a word that I want to use on the show, was going to pick that. So I smartly had a backup plan. And that backup plan is something I actually picked up last year on Black Friday sale, but it's still awesome. It is the Jawbone Jam Box. If you've been thinking of picking up one of those Jawbone Up appliances, forget it. I don't like that thing. It's silly. But this thing is fantastic. It connects via Bluetooth, uses the same interface that AirPlay uses, and it plays you can Skype call, fantastic quality, but you can jam out. You can get silly, stupid, rocked out with this thing. It is loud, it is clear, it is so good you will not believe it is Bluetooth, and it's in an itty bitty box, just like the genie from Aladdin. So that is my crazy peripheral miscellaneous choice.
Which is so nice because there are no wires.
Yes.
Yeah,
so you can move it
that is nice.
Wherever you have to move. And it sounds fabulous.
It's the future, Georgia.
Just turning it on is the coolest sound.
Oh, hang on. I wonder if let me just play that sucker. Oh, maybe it's not charged. I let it run down. I apologize.
Oh, that's too bad.
I'll add it in post, but yeah, it is. We also, if these gifts, if you have everything that is these gifts, if you already have this, we are putting up a bunch of gift guides. We've already put up. Chris did the gift guide for gamers. It has the iPad that Seth mentioned, along with a ton of really great apps. But Georgia actually went beyond that. Her position this year is that we are talking to the nerdiest of the nerds, the geekiest of geeks at times, and they might already have everything that we could possibly think of. So you went outside the curve, Georgia. You put together a whole list of super cool stuff that you thought iPhone and iPad people wouldn't already have.
Yes, we did. We went through some gadgets gifts, which are just fun gifts that you can do for your favorite lovable geek in your life. So one of them, do you want me to go through them? We don't have time,
Your favorites.
Well, I actually loved, and this I'm thinking of getting, is the Boon Glow night lights, which are portable, like luminescent balls. If you have children, or if you're scared of the dark yourself, you can just, actually it's a light, but then you can grab the light object and just carry it around. It's just a ball. It's not going to deal with anything. And then they can leave it in their bed if they're scared of the dark, and then slowly the ball discharges, and then it becomes dark again. You can just plop it back into the little area. The only thing is I would worry about the orbs getting lost, but they also come in different colors. So I thought that was really cool. Plus, what I loved, and I thought of this for Leanna, was the coffee mug that looks like a photography lens. And it looks really really good. So I thought that was really cool.
They actually have a bunch of them of different size lenses that like the long lenses are thermoses and the shorter lenses are cups. It's pretty cool.
Right. I put down the flying fish, the flying shark, the air swimmers that Seth had spoken about before, because those were just really
those things
sweet.
are awesome.
Like really, really sweet. So sweet. I'm like, I might have to just pick one of those up because that's just one of the coolest things. And they have giant-sized one as well. Like if you have someone that has an actual shark phobia, this would be the thing to traumatize them with.
I want a blue whale one.
They don't have any blue whales as of yet. They have Nemos and then they have sharks that I've seen.
They do have though, Seth. They have eyes black as coal.
Dog's eyes.
And then they have a electric firefly in a jar, which looks like a little tiny firefly and blinks and glows and moves around the jar. I actually had one of these, a butterfly that was in a jar, but the sad part was people actually thought it was so real that they looked at me like I was cruel for keeping a butterfly in a jar that had no air holes. Like I actually had 3 people very upset at me.
Bug. I thought it was the crew of the Firefly with Mal Reynolds and Jane and such all kept in a bottle, like Candor.
No. So you can take a look at some different ideas if
Nice.
For that geek in your life.
That is all shades of awesome. I'm happy. So we're going to do an iPhone gift guide on Wednesday, and we're actually going to do a Zen and Tech gift guide after this show. So check out all of them. We're going to have a bunch of gift guides on the shows this week. They're going to all be quite superb.
Gift guides and how to shop for the holiday gifts without having any stress.
Yes. So can we talk briefly about these iPad 3 rumors? Because I've gone a whole week without an iPad 3 rumor. I'm definitely in withdrawal.
Oh, it felt so good not to, but all right.
They might have displays, Seth. There might be displays in these iPads.
Oh, we might be able to view text on them? Get out.
They might actually have an interface that our eyes can contend with.
Right.
Well, no, you laugh, but the iPod Shuffle never had a screen. It was feasible the iPad 3 wouldn't have a screen, I guess.
Well, okay, so could there be a Retina display, what it was, 2048 by 11536 Retina display, next generation iPad 3? Would that be at all feasible economically? How much would they have to sell these babies for?
Well, they said that they're testing they have a J1 and a J2 prototype because lighting up, it becomes a challenge to light a screen that big. And they're testing whether they're going to use one giant LED light source behind it, like a super Hulk version of what they use in the current iPad, or if they're actually going to split it and have 2 light sources, like the Wonder Twins.
And wouldn't the battery power, in order, like they'd have to have much more powerful batteries if they were going to keep 10 hours of playback.
Yeah, they managed to do that with the iPhone 4, and when the iPhone 4 went to Retina display, they put their new batteries in. I'm guessing the iPad 3 is just, there was a rumor it might be thicker, so they might just try to throw more battery at it.
Seth, would you care if the iPad 3 was thicker, but you got Retina display and the same battery power?
Nope, not even a little.
What about if it was heavier? Like marked heavier?
I don't think 4 metric tons.
I honestly don't think I would, because I don't really find that I'm in a position where I have to hold it like outstretched very often. I'm either sitting or I'm using it at a table or something like that. So as long as it wasn't ridiculously heavy to the point where it was laughably difficult to manage, then I don't think I'd really care, because I've been holding out for that screen. I can't in my mind justify jumping to a new iPad if it's got the same resolution screen, having the Retina display on the iPhone, and just being like, oh my god, I just need to have this on this device. So if it's a little bigger, that's fine. If it's a little heavier, that's fine too. They're not going to make it ridiculous. It's going to be within the ballpark of reasonable size and weight.
Yeah.
But we would still not be able to see the screen very well in bright light conditions then.
Yeah, but now we're fine because you can't see the Kindle Fire in bright light either, so Amazon can't make those commercials anymore.
So it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, that bikini chick is SOL, man.
But she can still hold it.
We had this awesome tip this week that Leanna put up. It was actually, it spun out of Iterate. We had Jeff Broderick on Iterate. I believe it was the show before the last one, right, Seth?
Yes.
And he's a really cool designer, and he went ahead and he made this utility. You go to this website, and it adds settings shortcuts to your home screen. So you can put an icon on your website, on your home screen, Georgia, that you tap it, and it takes you to Bluetooth settings, or to Wi-Fi settings, or to basically any service that Apple offers with a URL scheme. It's Leanna put together a quick how to use it, and it uses certificates to do it. Some people don't like certificates. I thought it was pretty clever, Seth.
Oh yeah. I mean, this thing that Jeff has done is not a new thing, but he has pulled it off in the classiest, nicest way possible so far.
And he made darn good looking icons.
Yeah, he did.
And we also have How to Gift the app, which is really nice if you're thinking of giving an application as a gift to someone, which is a sweet gift, I think, because I love applications. Leanna went through how exactly do you do that, so you won't have to worry about it.
Because people actually ask us, we got asked a lot how to redeem them, but now as it's the holidays, we're getting asked how to gift them. And Apple does make it really, really simple. The only caveat is still that you can't gift to someone with I can't send Seth a gift from a Canadian iTunes Store account to an American iTunes Store account. There's no cross-national gifting. But
if you have, if you could switch over to an American account, say that you have both, you would be able to do that.
The tip that we tell people when they ask us this is just to send them some PayPal money with a nicely written note saying, "I'm sending you this $10 on PayPal so that you can go and buy this really cool app because I saw it and I thought of you," and that kind of gets around the iTunes restriction, but still makes them hopefully not go and blow it on candy and soda pop.
And we have a lot of contests that we are running. We have the Follow Friday giveaway. So take a check in that. You have to follow, and then you get sent in. I don't know why the link does not actually work, but
we're giving away one of these. They have two. Pat and Quill has two iPad cases. I'm going to back up a bit, and we're giving away one of these one of each of them to a Twitter follower and a Facebook follower. So you have to follow both of us on Twitter and on Facebook, and we will pick some winners.
And we have other giveaways also that we're working on. Are the pop phones done for that? We have
pop phones are up. We started giving them away last Monday. You still have 1 day left to enter.
So you can take a look at that. And there's just tons of different contests that we're running. Great chance of winning. So take a peek, sign in, do whatever you have to do. If you don't have a Twitter account and it's a Twitter giveaway, just make a Twitter account. Enter the contest, and then if you choose not to use it, don't. If you have a Facebook thing, make a Facebook page just to do it, follow, deal with it.
I don't know if it's
go
cool.
for it.
You know what I found out, Georgia? Well, first of all, you can go to tippy.com/contests to find all our contests. But when I forget who it was, we were giving out some prizes, and we found this person had entered multiple times, which is usually a no-no in these contests. We just ask you to enter once. We clicked on the account, and that entire account was just a contest entry account. All that account did was retweet stuff for contests. There are people who only use Twitter to enter Twitter giveaways.
It's brilliant.
I think it's pretty smart.
It's like being stuck behind that coupon lady in the mall.
I do. I think that's a pretty smart idea.
Yeah. You got to think the percentages aren't that high, but maybe if you do it in sufficient volume, you could, you have your tweet deck there set on contest, retweet.
Yeah, listen. Go ahead and just do it.
Yeah. I won them a year. I awarded them a year off of Twitter.
But did they win, Rene?
They won a year, not allowed using Twitter.
Well, I think that is about all of our iPad goodness for this show. And I would like to say thank you so much to Seth for joining us again.
Oh, thank you, Georgia. It's always a nice way to wind down my weekend.
And how do we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Seth Clifford. You can find me on iPhone Live and on Iterate with Rene and Mark Edwards of Bajango. And if you'd like to learn about our sites and apps and everything we build, please visit nfidm.com. We're Nickelfish. Damn it.
And Rene.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And tell us, one is, are there any new shows that are coming out this week?
There are. We're trying to get Mobile Nation's Enterprise launched. We're going to have Craig Johnston and Isaac Kendall, who are both really, really smart about launching mobile devices in the enterprise. We might have some guests. We're going to, if we can get the schedules worked out, that will launch this week. And Tech Talk actually just went live in iTunes. We actually have, if I can digress for a moment, our iTunes artists page left. You can go. I'll put the link in the show notes. You can go to iTunes, and there is a fancy dancy Mobile Nations page that shows you all our essential podcasts, the top episodes, gives you a lot more information, and it's looking fairly sharp, if I may say so.
Very, very awesome, Rene. And how do we find out about you and more about you?
You can find me at Rene Ritchie on Twitter. You can find me at Mobile Nations on Twitter. You can find me at tippy.com, mobilenations.com, zenandtech.com. You can find me everywhere but sleeping.
So be there or be square.
Yeah.
And I am Georgia. You can find me on Twitter at Georgia Tippy. You can also find me on the website, www.tippy.com. And also this Thursday, we will be, right after the show, we'll be doing Zen and Tech, and we will be dealing with how to make the entire shopping experience for the holidays enjoyable, a little bit more pleasant, and we'll go through some really interesting ideas if you are worried about it. And also on Girls Gone Gadgets this Thursday, December 1st, after Android Central at 10:30 Eastern Time. You can reach all of us on Twitter at Tippy, or you can email us at podcast@tippy.com and leave a comment when the show goes live. We're here every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Our companion show, iPhone Live, same time, Rene?
It is the same bat time, same bat channel on Wednesday nights.
For all of our podcasts, audio and also video now, including iPhone Live, iPad Live, Zen and Tech, Super Functional, Iterate, Girls Gone Gadgets, see mobilenations.com/shows, and there's a lot more shows, so go take a peek.
Can I interject?
Check them out.
That Instacast HD button, it actually shows the show notes, and you can click on them and get information about them right there in the app, which is awesome because sometimes people can't, they don't know to go to tippy.com/podcast to get the show notes, so the app actually builds them right in there.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
And
very nice.
if you haven't already, subscribe, please. In iTunes, leave a rating. It'll help people find the show, and we love it. Thanks so much to the Tippy iPad accessory store, so take a peek there as well for any gifts that you would like to give. And thank them for sponsoring the podcast and for the most amazing chat room that exists. Our people.
If ever there whizzes there were.
They are. They're absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you to them.
Seth,
Zen and Tech coming up right after.
Seth is looking down and smiling at something, and it's made me awful suspicious.
Oh, don't worry about it.
He's buying something, isn't he? He's buying the iCade right now.
I'll tell you about it later.
All right.
Then.
His iPad asked if he wanted to play any games. So innocently, Seth asked if he could play Global Thermonuclear War, and it's keeping him attentive.
And now I'm in a battle of life or death, playing tic-tac-toe with it.
Nice. Girls Gone Gadgets is also going to be a gift guide this week.
Yes, it will.
Yes.